Hey everyone, welcome to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. Listen, don't be selfish. I need you guys to go ahead and if you are on Facebook, share it out. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe and also share it out. Tell people what's going on Real Talk with Ellison because we are talking about real issues that impact the community as a whole. Not only are we talking about these issues, but we're also informing people about what can they do in the community, right? So, with that being said, we're about to get this show started. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. On today's show, we are going to be honoring women past, present, so that we can preserve our future. And I also want to talk to you about being whole. So I'm not going to be before you long on today, but I want to talk about these women and the impact that they had on our future. And I also want to do a self check, right? So I know this is Women's Month, but the self check care I want to do with you guys today, it can go for your children as well as the men. So while I'm giving you these facts, I'm going to need you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay. Because remember, I said I also want to equip you for what you need for day to day life. So go ahead and grab that pencil and that paper while I read these facts off to you so that we can do your total self care checkup. Right? Because we want to make sure we're whole. It's so important to be whole mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And sometimes we lack in that area. All right, so let me stop jibber jabbering, get to the facts because I'm excited about the assessment that I want you guys to take for yourself. Okay. All right, so first I want to let you know a little bit about awards. These awards are called the International Woman of Courage Awards. Not too many people know about these awards. They have been taking place about 17 years now. So, over the last 17 years, the White House has been honoring women for their courageous acts. And I think it's so important to honor these women because of the things that they do. Not only is it helping women in the future and in the current, but they are also risking their lives in doing this. Right. And I think that is so important for us because not many times people are willing to be selfless and sacrifice themselves in order to help others. So again, the awards are called Women of Courage, International Women of Courage. It's not just here in the United States, it's across internationally. And the award ceremony, they normally give about 11 awards to these extraordinary women from around the world. And what these women are working towards is to build a brighter future for all. So yes, it's women doing this, and yes, it's for women, but how do you know if you watch the last few episodes, it's for all humanity because the women give life, right? Remember, we're life givers. So don't forget, hashtag life givers. So the award ceremony, what they do is they are given this award because they demonstrated exceptional courage. They just demonstrated strength and leadership, right? Because they were advocating for peace, justice, and human rights. And not just for women, but for gender equality and equality, right? And that's so important for us today. We have to fight for each other and we have to see each other as equals. And if you, all you have to do is turn on the news and you know that that's not happening. So these women are fighting for this. They're empowering other women and girls in all their diversity, regardless of their culture, regardless of their skin color, regardless of the hair type. They are empowering all of these women and at great personal risk and sacrifice. right? It sounds like a lot about us Christians, what we're supposed to do. So the Department of State has recognized more than 180 women over the last 17 years from more than 80 different countries. And I think that is powerful because that goes to show you that we are on the ground and we are fighting for everyone. So these women, they risk their lives to strengthen the global network of women leaders. Leaders. That's what they're risking their lives for, to strengthen the global network of women leaders. So hope you guys are getting that pencil and pen and paper. Okay, so leaders like, and I'm only going to go through a few of them because I really want to get to the assessment. So leaders like Dr. Zakari Hagsmat, what she did is she, from one room, right? One room, one little tiny room, she had an office, and she founded the Afghan Refugee Association in Turk. And she is one of the few leaders of a refugee-led community. And what they do, they assist many Afghans in fleeing, especially women and girls and minorities. And they have also received access to refugee protection and asylum, which is very important because if they get caught now, they can't get deported back. They can't get any kind of repercussions from it. So she is about her business, which is helping other people. And the other young lady that I want to talk about, she's actually from Ethiopia, and her name is Meza Mohammed. And she has a strong voice about advocating for investigations of an accountability for the human rights violation, for the human rights. And we see there's human trafficking, there's not justice for the human rights. There's a lot there's a lot of violations. And in Ethiopia, their news is restricted, but she risked her life to start a YouTube channel, a YouTube news channel, to expose these things that are happening over there in Ethiopia. So I'm just going to read those two because, again, I want to get to the self-care check. But I think those are two powerful examples of what are we doing, not only for our community, not only for our young women, not only for our young men, but what are we doing as disciples of Christ? For you, for those of you that are Christians, are we risking all that we have for Christ? So I thought those were two powerful ones to read, and I wanted to share that with you. Okay, self-care checkup. Now this is my lane right here. I think it's so important because a lot of us are busy, a lot of us are doing certain things, a lot of us are working hard, and we're not practicing self-care. So I want to see if you are practicing self-care. So here's the rules. You have number 1, 2, and 3. Those are your numbers. Number 1 says, I can approve. Number 2 is, I'm average at doing this. And number 3 is, I do this very well. Okay. So number 1 is, I can approve in this area. Number 2 is, I'm about average. And number 3 is, I'm doing well. So a self-care checkup, we're going to check on your emotions. We're going to check on, yes, emotions, men. We're going to check on your physical, your social, your occupational, and your spiritual. That's how you know if you're whole. If you're missing one of these, you're not whole, right? So the self-care checkup can help you consider the frequency and the quality of your self-care in 5 important domains. There's 5 of them, guys: emotional, physical, social, occupational, and spiritual self-care. Okay. Y'all ready? Thumbs up. Somebody thumbs up. I'm ready. Say the word, I'm ready. Whichever you choose. The first one we're going to do is emotional self-care. And remember, you have the numbers 1, 2, and 3. And this is for you to tally up on your own and hold your own self accountable to know that you are taking care of yourself. Right. And so I was thinking about the show on today, and we had something else lined up. And, God said, you tell the people you want to equip them, but what are you really doing to equip them? I remember one time I gave you guys some coping skills on how to learn how to control your thoughts. So now I want you to do the self-care checkup so that you know if you are taking care of yourself. Because if you are taking care of yourself, then you can too be a woman like one of the two that I mentioned here on today. But if we don't take care of ourselves, we burn out easy and we can't even give back to ourselves, more or less church, our children, or anybody in the neighborhood. All right. So, first question, emotional self care. Are you enjoying any hobbies? Are you enjoying any hobbies? Are you unplugging from technology? Are you expressing your emotions or your feelings, or are you holding them in? That's a good one. Are you appreciating you? Meaning, are you appreciating your own talents, your own accomplishments, and your own strengths? I'm not saying be conceited and prideful. I'm just saying, are you appreciating you? Do you take the day off to rest? And or do you take the day off to rip and run and do everything you haven't been doing and you still need another day? That's good. Are you trying to explore new things? Are you laughing? And now I'm not talking about I'm talking about, have you had that deep belly laugh, right? Hashtag deep belly laugh. I've had a deep belly laugh. Actually, the last couple of days, I've had a deep belly laugh. Those are pleasing to the soul. Deep belly laugh. Are you laughing or are you uptight? Right? Hashtag deep belly laugh. And are you practicing general emotional self care where you're checking in with your own self, making sure you're not spinning yourself up in irrational thoughts or, thoughts that are based off of assumptions or trying to predict the future? Okay. So that's emotional checkup. So the next one we're going to talk about is your physical self care. And it's still the same numbers, 1, 2, or 3 apply. And I think this is really important. And on our next show on next week, we'll talk more about this with our special guest. But are you attending health upkeep appointments? Are you upkeeping your health? Are you doing your dental checkups, your yearly checkups, your gynecology checkups, your colonoscopies, you name it? Are you taking care of you? Are you resting when you unwell, or are you saying, "Oh, I got to push through. I got to do this and I got to do that"? And what about your water intake? Are you doing good at your water intake? A sip here and there is not going to do it. That will help your skin, believe it or not. Are you getting sufficient sleep, or are you sleep deprived? Sufficient sleep. Are you moving, walking, dancing, going up the steps, moving your arms, chair exercises? Some people have problems. Are you doing chair exercises? Are you eating regular meals? Are you maintaining good hygiene? Are you flossing? Are you brushing? Whatever else your ADLs are depict. So I think this is important because we have to make sure we eat healthy and we have to make sure that we take care of our physical self care. Now, socially, right? And I know we coming out of COVID, but there's still things that we can do to protect ourselves if we want to engage socially. It's important for us to be social. Even scripture says it's not good for man to be alone, right? So we have to make sure we include ourselves socially. So are you making time for loved ones and friends? Mm, I want you to go back through your cell phone and emails and find out how many people say, yeah, we got to get together, and it hasn't happened yet. Yes, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty, but I have been doing much better at that. Are you staying connected? Whether it's the text message, Zoom, FaceTime, in person, there's too many different ways that we can connect. Are you connecting socially? Are you getting that social interaction? What are you doing to engage yourself mentally so your brain is stimulated? And TikTok is not it. Not TikTok. But are you engaging? Iron sharpens iron. Are you engaging? And I hope you guys are 1, 2, and 3. Remember, that's your numbers. Okay. Are you being intimate or romantic for those that have their partners? That's important too. You got to have a level of intimacy, whether that is sexually or non-sexually, because intimacy is just into me, right? Are you having fun? Are you having fun with other people? Are you enjoying things? Are you going out to eat? Are you going to a show? Are you going to a comedy? What are you doing to have fun? Right? What are you doing to have fun? We were given this life to have it and have it more abundantly, but yet we're not enjoying it because we're too busy. So, are you having fun? Are you attempting to meet new people? Right? We met a couple quite a few months ago, and we've been going with them ever since. So whoever said no new friends, that's not the truth. So I want you to score yourself on your social. And for you guys that work, what about your occupational self-care? Yes. You working yourself to death, right? That's important. Or are we allowing other people on our jobs to help us? So, are you allowing other people on your jobs to help you? Are you seeking support when you need help? Or are you that one to say, I got it until the roof catches on fire? Are we maintaining a comfortable or pleasant work environment? Are we bonding with some of our coworkers? And listen, guys, you're not going to bond with everybody. And just because I bond with you at work does not mean that after 5 or 8 or whatever time you get off that we have to be best buds. But do we have a really good work environment? What about lunch breaks? Are you taking lunch breaks or are you eating and working at the same time? That's a good one. I'm guilty of that one because I want to get it done. But I need to take time for me. So I'm encouraging you to do the same. Take your lunch break. It's going to be there when you get back. Okay? Turn down. Uh-oh, I said a bad word. Learn to say no. Learn to say I can't. Learn to just say not now. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with this right now. No, it's okay to say no, nah, nada, absolutely not. Whatever you want to do, but learn to use your voice and say no. Do not overwhelm yourself because of someone else. Stop people pleasing. This is all important. This is a part of your occupational self-care because if they know they can depend on you, they're going to keep pouring stuff more and more on your plate until it's full, right? Okay. So, I want you to go ahead and score your overall occupational self-care. And last is your spiritual self-care. How many of us have been outside to really enjoy what God has created? The flowers are blooming, and I get it, allergies, but you can put on a mask. You can take some allergy medicine, right? But are we just ripping and running that we don't take the time to even look at the sky, look at the clouds, look at the sun, look at the stars, look at the moon, look at all of God creation? Take time to sit, listen to the birds tweet. 1, 2, or 3, those are the numbers. What about acts of kindness? What are you doing? Did you improve in that area? Are you proficient in that area? Are you just okay in that area? Acts of kindness. And everything that's going on in the world today, we need all the acts of kindness we can get. We need a lot of selfless people right now. And are you active in your church? Right? If I get it, if you don't want to go back in the building, are you getting dressed and in praise and worship, singing at the house? Why do you have to? If you don't want to go back in the building, why can't you sing and raise your hand and praise him while you're at the house? That's where we spend most of our time too, anyway. So that should be our sanctuary for real. What about practicing gratitude? What are you grateful for? Are you grateful that he gave you breast that because he's the reason why your chest rises and falls? Are you grateful for that? Are we showing gratitude to other people that do things for us? You know, I'm grateful. My husband makes me breakfast almost every morning. I'm definitely grateful because without him, I wouldn't eat. So thanks, honey. Are you staying in your word? Are you meditating? Are you reading your daily devotionals? Are you sharing your daily devotionals? Are you talking about your daily devotionals? What are you doing with your daily word? What are you doing with your meditation? Are you just harboring all this good food for yourself and not feeding anyone? That's powerful. What about quiet time? Are we practicing quiet time? When we pray to God, do we sit still long enough to listen to Him, or do we get up and just leave? Our relationship with God is a two-way street. We have to sit still sometime and listen to what He's saying. Sometimes we feel like we don't hear from Him, and that's because we have the busyness of life happening and we haven't sat still to hear our Father. So I think that's important. And are you applying your personal strengths, talents, and values to your church? Are you applying that? Are you appreciating all of God's creation? I talked about the moon and the stars and the flowers and the trees earlier, but what about art? What about music? What about literature? Are you appreciating all what God has given us? Are you taking advantage of what God has put before us? Those are some things that I really want you to think about. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to be before you guys long. And that was the end of the assessment. I want you guys to go back and look at your numbers and add it up for yourself. Remember, one was I can improve in this earlier. Two is I'm average at doing this. And three is I do this very well. We will all find areas that we can improve on, right? So I challenge you to make sure you are taking care of yourself in those five important life domains, which was emotionally, physically, socially, occupationally, and spiritual self-care. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Ellison, Real Talk with Ellison. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really hope that this self care assessment will do you some justice. Share it with a friend, right? Let them know, like, hey, this is what I did. Are you practicing self care? But I would ask you guys to tune in next week. We're going to talk about some natural, healthy ways to heal our bodies, get over these hot flashes with the menopause. We're going to have all kind of stuff for you naturally on Real Talk with Ellison next week at 7 p.m. Until then, God bless. Mwah.